So what is a reset? A reset is a 30-day holistic healing experience in the jungle of Costa Rica. We are creating a soul tribe. We're creating a community, a team of people that come together in order to heal, have fun, play, and to create the new earth, to establish how might it feel like if we live differently, if we live by our own internal rules. And we invite a little bit more compassion in, we invite more love, we invite more acceptance for our journey and for other people's journey. So reset is actually much more than a retreat. That's why I would love to call it an experience. It's something that I was called to create in my meditations 1 year ago. It came to me as a divine plan, knowing that it's going to be much, much bigger than I could ever wish for, or I could even imagine with my limited mind. So this is what reset is the hard facts is that it's 30 days in the jungle. It's actually at the sea. So we have a very beautiful location that hosts around 15 people in total, which is on the Caribbean side. It's at Punta Uva, it's called. Caribbean side of Costa Rica, and the facility, the house, is actually located in between the sea, so it's at the sea, and the river. So we have both elements with us, both the sea and the river. And because it will rain in between, it's halfway rainy season there, we'll also have the rain. So we're gonna be blessed by this element in so many forms, and I can hardly wait. So one of the question is, what is actually the program of reset? So reset, as the name suggests, is actually a full reset for your body, mind, emotions, and spirit. So the whole purpose of reset and why, like the big why of why this is, like the reason why this is taking place, is that people, when they want to change their lives, let's say that they had a spiritual awakening, they have a midlife crisis, they have an aha moment realizing that this life that they created, the identity that they've created for themselves, does not suit them anymore. It does not serve. It has served in the past, but right now they're not very happy. They're not fulfilled in what they're doing. They miss their why. They miss their enthusiasm. They miss the joy of life. Or they've been stuck in a let's say a dark night of the soul. They've been stuck in their own self-created matrix for way too long. And they want an escape, right? They want just a little bit of clarity, mind clarity, body clarity, emotions, so that they know, okay, what is actually next? Even if that next doesn't become clear, let's say at reset, at least you have the confidence, you have the faith to follow your curiosity, because that's what we want, is for you to have the confidence, the sovereignty to follow your curiosity, knowing that it will lead you anyway to what you're here to do, to your purpose. So reset, coming back to the program, is actually offering different tools, different healing modalities in order for you to reset on every single level. When it comes to the mind, because we will start with the mind, is we will offer Vipassana. And this is the highlight of this whole experience, is Vipassana. I don't know how many of you have experienced Vipassana. I'm sure that many of you have experienced, maybe from the ones that have went into the 10-day well-known Goenka style meditation. And the Vipassana that we will be offering at this retreat is a different style. It's a different lineage of Vipassana. It's called Satipatthana Vipassana, and it's working very much on receiving insights, increasing your level of consciousness with different steps, whether it's sitting or walking. It's increasing your consciousness level so that you can find clarity on your behavioral patterns and your thinking patterns, right? So because you have ample time to meditate, to sit in silence, because it's 10 days of silence, so it's no phone, no talking, no nothing. You have enough time in order to reflect and to perceive and to become aware of what it is that is going on in your mind, what it is that is actually driving the vehicle, running the show, because most of the things that we're doing, we're not conscious of them. There is something, in our learned behaviors, and limiting behaviors that we will always apply in order to live. So Vipassana will be 10 days, and we will arrive on the 31st of August or the 1st of September, and we basically have 2 days and a half to adjust, like being jet lagged, depending on where you're coming from. Also for the welcoming ceremony, like this will happen before the start of Vipassana. And then on the 3rd of September, we start with the 10 days of silence. And for that, we have a very beautiful, wise, humble, extremely experienced teacher from the UK that is coming to facilitate Vipassana. And he will be there to support you through the process and to guide you through this ascension in consciousness, so you're not completely alone. And afterwards we have a few days of silence. So this technique and this in general, like the silence retreat, the 10 days that we will embark on, will be very, very powerful. It has an ability to provide awakenings. It has the ability to show you things that you've never looked at, and so it can be also scary, but we're there to hold your hand. And the program in Vipassana is basically like you wake up at 4 in the morning and you meditate throughout the day. You just meditate, walking and sitting. You have, after 30 minutes of meditation, you have 30 minutes of break. You have 3 meals or 2.5 meals per day. And it's really supposed to put you in a state where you can quiet the mind at the end. In the beginning it will be racing and you will see a lot of things, but at the end you will, because there is no noise, there is no interference, no nothing, you will be able to get a clarity to, okay, what am I actually dealing with? So there are 2 days after Vipassana where you have the opportunity to integrate, we will do some ceremonies. Whatever came up in Vipassana, we will we will make a commitment to look at that, to integrate that, to express it, not hold it inside. So we have a very beautiful environment. Costa Rica is a very high vibrational place with the sea, the river, we have the jungle, we have very beautiful people, like the whole scene and the entire environment is gonna support you to go through this process, to take the next step in your healing journey. And you're gonna be safe. You're gonna this is very, very important. We are having people there that have done this 30-40 years, and it's very important that you have this trust and this faith in us to be able to guide you in your journey. And so for the 2 days, yes, we're gonna do ceremonies, we're gonna take our time, whether it's you want it in silence or we're gonna do group activities, like for example, going out on the sea, with a boat to an island or something like that, doing something nice. This is up to us. It depends very much, our program is super flexible. It depends very much on how people actually feel and how they receive the medicine. That's why this group is very curated, is small, so that we can really dig into the individual needs and individual requirements of every single participant. So after the 2 days are done, we're gonna go into working with what has actually come up in Vipassana, whether that is, okay, I have some limiting thoughts, limiting behaviors, or I see that, this trauma is resurfacing and I'm not sure how to deal with that. We will have a lot of people there, at least 5 or 6 facilitators to hold space and to guide you individually through your journey, but also in a group setting. So we will have different workshops when it comes to integrating that, but also expressing those emotions that come up, whether it's emotional freedom technique, which is, just the tapping that we do in order to rewire the brain. Let's say that we want to work with changing stories, changing narratives, right, that came up in Vipassana. It's an ongoing process. Of course, it cannot be done in just a few days or in a month. But we're gonna give you the tools that you can take at home. We're gonna give you the tools to start this journey of awakening, start the journey of healing, or restart it, right? Because we've been on an awakening and healing journey probably just in cycles. And right now is, okay, I'm gonna learn new tools in a very safe environment, very loving, very compassionate, to deal with that, to deal with whatever is coming, and also having the confidence that, oh my God, I'm not scared, I'm not scared of my mind, I'm not scared of my body, the physical issues that are coming up, I'm not scared of my emotions, because I'm gonna be held. And we will also hold you after the reset experience, right? So you will be in a container for at least 3 months afterwards, in which we're still gonna hold space for whatever comes up for you. This is very important. And so, as I mentioned, we will be offering support on an individual level, but also on a collective level, mentioning before the emotional freedom technique, the workshops, but also workshops on, for example, shadow work or shadow play, workshops on breath work, workshops. We'll have somebody who gives Reiki, who gives massages, especially when we work with the body, somebody to facilitate ecstatic dances, and how you can release different emotions in your chakras when you move your body in ways that you probably never experienced before. You were in a certain kind of comfort zone. So we're gonna hold space for that, and we're gonna facilitate, and we're gonna integrate, and it's very important that there is a lot of space in between. So we have some workshops planned out when it comes to, for example, emotions and body, because after mind, resetting the mind, we'll have, okay, we're resetting the emotional body and the physical body. So looking at okay, how is trauma stored in the body and how can we release that? Or how can art help us express our emotions? What does breath work and breathing have to do with this somatic release? And just, unleashing our authentic selves. And at the end, we will have the soul week. So I'm talking about emotions, body, but then in the end, we'll have the soul week. And soul, right? It's about, if we did the work, we did 3 weeks of work of just pulling out the weeds and being aware, bringing more consciousness to how we think, right? Like what is actually going on in our mental body, emotional, physical. Then our soul, right? Like after so much silence, after so much good food, nutrition, we're also gonna have workshops on nutrition. After the silence, after working with the elements, with the water and so on, we, like, our soul can actually come to light and be like, you can actually start to listen to the messages that your soul is telling you, is giving out, right? Because the soul is always talking to us, like non-stop. It's just that in our society, we have been very conditioned to suppress the soul, right? Because we're supposed to go to work, right? We're supposed to be productive. We're supposed to be well behaved. We're supposed to have this amount of money to do this and that, right? And it's very distant from actually feeling like what we want to do, right? So whether it's, let's say it's a responsibility, you have responsibilities in your life, right? Whether it's taking care of your children, like being with your spouse, taking care of your grandparents, like whatever it is that you have responsibility towards, that sometimes doesn't come from love, from a place of pure intention. It really comes from society telling us, like, this is the way how you should do it. This is the way how you should treat elderly or your children or this or that. And it has nothing to do with how we feel inside that we should actually do it. So our soul actually comes to the surface because it's like an iceberg, like our whole internal landscape and our whole existence is like an iceberg, right? We only see, like, people only see the peak of the iceberg, but we only see what is above the water. But actually what is happening is like underneath the surface of the water. And this is what we want to bring up. This is what we want to see or uncover. It's like with the mind, the emotions, the body, and so on. And so afterwards we can actually perceive, whoa, okay, I feel my soul, there is a diamond inside me. I can actually perceive my light. I feel my essence. I feel like what brings me joy, what stirs my curiosity. I feel what I'm supposed to do in this life, right? And this is, like, as I said, this is not obvious to very many people, and it's so unfortunate. And this can change. Of course, this can change over time. Like always, we have different purposes throughout lifetime, right? This can always change, but your essence always stays the same. So with workshops like, the Tolkien or Gene Keys, human design, nature immersion, working with the elements, cacao ceremonies, mushroom ceremonies, these are all tools to help you connect to your soul, connect to your intuition, and also connect to the divine and to something greater than yourself, and see how life is actually extremely, extremely beautiful. So you see beauty and sacred, right? You see that life is sacred. Every single thing that you do, every single thing that you experience is sacred. And you start to receive the tools to have to apply sacred intentionality in your life, in your day-to-day life when you go home. So whatever you do, you have an intention. And how can you work with that? It's not only that we bring intention to a cacao ceremony, but actually we bring intention every time we wake up in the morning. We bring gratitude every time we go to sleep, right? We understand what gratitude means, how it is to be in the frequency of gratitude, in a frequency of trust and faith, in a frequency of authenticity, authentic self-expression. Like these are all things that we will work with and learn in this magical experience. Another tool, for example, is working with the Akashic records. Whether some of you are familiar with that or not, I've been starting to dabble in, with the Akashic records, connecting to their frequency, like, I don't know, like maybe 2 years ago or something. I think it's even been 3 years, right? And I'm connecting myself, and I'm receiving so much guidance. I'm receiving so much wisdom and love and information. And I think it's a tool for people to actually feel their soul. And they require like this, this tool, and the ability to tap in that requires immense respect, right? Which is another frequency. It's like respect for that level, respect for yourself, respect for teachers. And this also brings me to respect for the land, right? Because we will be on a land that that holds so much wisdom, and it's a wisdom that it's a frequency that has been shaped and stirred up by the indigenous communities there, like for example the Bribri community, and we will also collaborate with them. So it's very important for me, for example, that we honor the sacred space that we will have this this beautiful retreat or this beautiful experience on. It's very important to me that we not only take from Mother Earth, but we give back. We give back to those communities, right? So it's an amalgam. It's a mix of so many different elements that I've been called to put together. I have no experience. Like literally, I have no experience when it comes to holding or hosting 1 month retreats. I've hosted a few retreats in the past, very short, like just a few days in Austria. And so I had a lot of doubts. I had a lot of self-critique when it came to why me? Why do I have to do this, right? And I did so much work with myself to be like, this does not come from ego. This does not come from me. It comes from something higher. And every time I wanted to quit or I wanted to be fearful, God or the universe or source was telling me like, no, this is way beyond you. And the people that will be there should be there, So you're working right now with completely different rules. And these rules of manifestation, for example, will be exactly the rules that you're also going to apply to facilitating it, to transmitting the wisdom, to having this, transmission with people. And so for people to actually embark on such a journey with me, on such an adventure, it's mind-blowing. And so far, the people that have, wow, like I couldn't have foreseen it, I couldn't have expected, like the soul tribe that is coming together. I'm telling you, man, like I'm almost like really crying like every now and then, because I can't believe this is actually happening, and this will become a reality for many, many years to come. And so this first like few members, it's they're in for a fucking retreat. I'm sorry for using the words, but yeah, it's just there are a few of us that really feel what reset means. That is this multi-dimensional vessel for creating the new earth, which, you know, a few people don't understand right now, which is totally fine. A few people judge, a few people try to, you know, resent or to not look at, and that's totally fine, because it's all part of the experience. It's all part of my reality, manifesting something that is not at all mainstream. And there are other 1 month retreats out there, but very few people actually started like me, with very little experience, with extreme trust, with extreme faith, and zero money in my account, like $0 or euros or whatever. And I'm setting an example, and I know that, and I feel that people that came to me to support me are also the people that are angels, and I see this divine plan behind the, you know, 1 month retreat. So yeah, that's a little bit about Reset, like why I started, how I feel about the program, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing where this goes, like how many people there will actually be there, and not having any doubts or any fears anymore regarding this beautiful experience. Yeah. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being on my journey. I love you, and I really hope that our paths will cross.